Okay, so we're just going to look at two little passages today, and hopefully there's something that we can learn about how we're able to serve the Lord. Can you turn, please, to Ezekiel chapter 44? Ezekiel 44, what we'll do is we'll jump in and start reading at verse 10. It says, "The Levites who went far from me when Israel went astray and who wandered from me after their idols must bear the consequences of their sin. They may serve in my sanctuary, having charge of the gates of the temple and serving in it. They may slaughter the burnt offerings and sacrifices for the people and stand before the people and serve them. But because they served them in the presence of their idols and made the house of Israel fall into sin, therefore I have sworn with uplifted hand that they must bear the consequences of their sin, declares the sovereign Lord. They are not to come near me to serve as my priests, or come near any of my holy things or my most holy offerings. They must bear the shame of their detestable practices. Yet I will put them in charge of the duties of the temple and all the work that is to be done in it." And so just by way of quick context, what we've got going on here is that Ezekiel's laid out what the millennial temple is going to be like, and he's talking about how different groups are going to serve, what they're going to do. And here there's a very specific group of Levites. It would seem that it's actually probably priests that had not followed the Lord. Their families had not followed the Lord properly. They had in fact gone after idols. Part of the context that lends to that being the case, it says in verse 15, "But the priests who are Levites and descendants of Zadok, who have faithfully carried out the duties of my sanctuary." And then it goes on from there, and that's something that we're hoping to look at in the next video. But this group didn't follow the Lord as they should. They led the Israelites astray, and it's a real shame because the Levites had a history before this of actually bringing the people to the Lord. When Jeroboam's rebellion led and Rehoboam was left behind, it says in 2 Chronicles chapter 11 that any in the other tribes who wanted to follow after the Lord followed the Levites down to Judah. There's a history of the Levites bringing people to the Lord. That was their position. They were to serve. And this group here, they had messed that up. But there's something really beautiful here that I think we want to look at. And that is that the Lord still lets them serve. They weren't able to serve fully. Sometimes there are things that we do in life that prevent us from being able to serve fully, whatever it might be. It could be baggage left over from even before we got saved. Sometimes there are things that we're not able to do because of the fact that we're in a sin-fallen world and we have our flesh and that. But the beauty and wonder and just pure grace of God is that we're still able to serve him. He still gives us avenues to serve. I mean, they had some amazing things they got to do, right? They got to help slaughter the burnt offerings and the sacrifices for the people. And they also got to stand before the people and help them come to the Lord. So the Lord gives them the opportunity to correct what had been done improperly beforehand. Where they before were leading the Israelites toward idolatry, now they're able to lead the Israelites to the Lord. And that's just the grace of the Lord. And we need to look at whenever the Lord presents opportunities to serve, we should be thrilled with that because they're the very best. Even though in our minds they might not be what they should be, there could be a variety of reasons for that. Some of them here, it could be consequences of sin. Can we just turn over to Mark chapter 5, please? Mark chapter 5, one other little passage we're going to look at here, very well known. This is after the Lord's healed the demon-possessed man that was able to rip his chains and all of that. And at the end of that passage in verse 18 of chapter 5 of Mark, it says, "As Jesus was getting into the boat, the man who had been demon-possessed begged to go with him. Jesus did not let him, but said, 'Go home to your family and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how he has had mercy on you.' So the man went away and began to tell in the Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him. And all the people were amazed." And, this man here, clearly there was, he had a family of sorts. And whether it was, that he had wife and kids, we don't know those necessarily all the fine details about it. But we do know that he had a family. And the Lord instructs him, "No, you're not going to come with me right now. You're going to go and tell people about me." And the man happily goes away and does it, doesn't he? And what's the result? It's a beautiful result. It says, and all the people were amazed that this man who once had just been this absolute terror is now telling them about the Lord Jesus, and the people were amazed by that, and the people got to know about the Lord Jesus because of this man. And we need to be people that no matter what, no matter the situation, no matter if it's consequences of bad decisions in the past, or just hey, our situation that we're in now, we need to be thrilled with whatever the Lord gives us to serve. And if we go about it and we serve how he's asked us to serve, ultimately more people are going to be brought to the Lord. And that should be our goal. Whenever we're serving others, it's not to lift ourselves up on a pedestal. It's not to say, hey, look at this wonderful, cool thing I can do. No, it's to bring people to the Lord. That needs to be our ultimate goal at all times. And what a privilege that we have in whatever capacity. And it was just in the context of even these videos that we're doing here. Yeah, we're stuck, we're apart from each other, but we can serve one another in very simple ways, whatever it be. One brother I know, he said he was making effort to text to different people to work his way through the assembly in a period of time every so often. And yeah, this may go on for a little while, but we can reach out to each other. There are so many things that we have available to us that wouldn't have been available even 25 years ago, even 10 years ago. We can video with each other, we can talk on the phone, we can text, we can all of those things. And if we're just always looking to serve however the Lord has presented us those opportunities, he's ultimately going to receive all of the praise. See you guys later.